Remind everybody that we are by far and away not done with this. This is a tornado watch until 8 o'clock tonight. Remember, a watch means that tornadoes are possible in this entire area. Now, this includes not only Colorado, essentially from Monument Hill all the way up through the Denver area, through Fort Collins, through Greeley. It also slices up through Cheyenne and north into central portions of Wyoming. So a lot of our friends north of the border, all included in this watch area, tornado watch that goes until 8 o'clock tonight. Front Range up and down I-25. By the way, the eastern extent of this watch is Lyman to Brush. So on the east side, folks in Lyman and Brush, you're actually on the eastern edge of this particular watch area. So again, no tornadoes reported right now. And frankly, the only real action that we've had going on in the metro area. We are seeing now what we would consider to be early indications. See where it says early there. That's an early indication of rotation. That means that you have some cloud bases that are rotating. Does not necessarily mean that there's a thunderstorm in that area. A lot of excitement here in the newsroom. We're getting a lot of thunder here in downtown Denver. Everybody, of course, living downtown. You're hearing that with us as well. Looks like a little mesocyclone, and again, rotating cloud base. That's what we have moving up into the northwest side of town. It's just north of Golden. This other one is a little more serious, and I'm going to zoom in on this guy just a little bit more. And this is the storm that we have the warning on right now. This is the severe warning storm. This one at 270 in Vasquez, and it has been raining like mad around Colorado Boulevard, Vasquez, 270, I-70, and I-76. That little, that quadrangle there from Northfields up along Sand Creek there, along 2470. It has just been raining like crazy, and we do have indication of mesocyclone right now because of the intensity of the radar return. Again, this is a radar estimate of up to 3-inch diameter hail. Now, we have had no reports of that just yet, but this gives you an idea of just how strong this storm is. It is moving to the northeast at 15 miles per hour. We're moving to the northeast at 15 miles per hour, actually 7 right now as we go. Kathy Sabin, Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin here again. Kathy, day 2, it is mid-May, late May. We like to have thunderstorms around this time of year. I don't know if we like it or not, but that's what we get. And we've got a lot going on here. In fact, I see a tornado warning just popped up for that storm that I was talking about with that rotating cloud base. So that's going to be the first thing we have to deal with here till 2:30.
Yeah, Marty, we're getting reports also of some type of weather event, perhaps some wind damage or maybe even a touchdown near 6th and Galena. That is in Aurora. We've got crews on the scene, and they're also checking that out. But, Marty, something's going on at 6th and Galena in terms of wind damage and potential touchdown from a funnel cloud spotted in that area. We, again, remain under a tornado watch through the mid and early evening hours. And, this was kind of an easy scenario to see several days ago. The setup yesterday, I think, was sort of the scenario that kind of caught a lot of us off guard with that front coming in so early. But with that low-level moisture in place, and now, Marty, as you know, the wind shear that we have today, we've got that low-level wind out of the east-southeast, winds aloft coming in out of the southwest. That's adding that kink, that rotation to these thunderstorms that are developing so very rapidly. Nothing on the radar, and then boom, they pop up 20,000 feet into the atmosphere in about 10 to 20 minutes time. Yesterday, large hail was the biggest threat.
And I-25, 225 cuts up through downtown Denver, then moves through northeast Denver. We are now in a tornado warning for northwestern Arapahoe County, central Denver County, and western Adams County. This goes until 2:30, so this is a 30-minute severe thunderstorm and tornado warning. Is actually tornado warning more important. And the reason for this is we are seeing a possible tornado located over Commerce City, 6 miles northwest of downtown Denver. It's moving to the northeast at 10. We have a rotating cloud base along with that. Right now, I know that at 6 in Galena, folks have seen things. This particular warning is what we call a tornado, or excuse me, a radar indicated warning, but it is because of this strong rotation that we are seeing currently in this storm, indicating severe hail, mesocyclone, so that's a cloud-based rotation, very strong rotation in the storm, and upwards of 2 to 3 inch diameter hail. So the tornado warning until 2:30 this afternoon. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more, so get you folks to know exactly who's in it and exactly who's not. It essentially goes from Colfax and I-25 to Sheridan and around 68th, and then north and east into the Bar Lake area, and all the way north and east to Pena Boulevard, just short of the terminal at DIA. So we have that tornado warning. Go ahead and save that in with settings. And Kathy, we have a couple of little storms down in southeastern Colorado, but I'd say all the really big stuff's going here. I haven't even seen anything going on in northern Colorado yet.
Yeah, it's interesting, Marty. The storms are developing so quickly west and south of town, and they're taking kind of that north to northeast track, and they're moving very rapidly, as you can see. But, you know, the highest density, the highest population area is the Denver metropolitan area right now. And so of great concern with these rotating storms right over the city. Also, large hail has been reported around the area, along with heavy flooding rainfall, which is impacting travel on I-25 this afternoon. Coming in from the south, you'll run into just a wall of water and pea-sized hail at I-25 and Yale, I-25 and Alamosa and University. And really, that is just putting traffic at a standstill coming in and out of the metro area. So travel really not advised at this point with this cluster of storms that has developed so very rapidly. And yesterday, we were looking at some of the forecast models, and Marty, we were talking about the potential for some of these to come together, and not only as a supercell situation, but perhaps an MCC, and, you know, a very large system that's going to go late into the night out on the far northeastern plains.
Absolutely. So the tornado warning till 2:30 this afternoon. The heaviest of the rain, for at least out of this particular cell, has slowed down here in the downtown area. Though, boy, it's raining very heavily just south of us, parts of Littleton and Inglewood. Let me stop that loop here so I get a little better bead on it for you, and we'll take you down into the South Metro area. Just raining like crazy right on that the Lakewood Southwest Denver line, moving into Sheridan. So we're right along Hamden and Sheridan Boulevard at the present time. Fort Logan, Fort Logan Memorial Cemetery in there. Extremely heavy rain, and I'm sure that we're going to be getting some hail out of that. And we have our picture-in-picture going on there. That's Belen de Leon, Chris Chalene. They are chasing for us. They are eastbound right now on I-70. They're on the back side of this a very heavy thunderstorm that's now expanded. It's gotten even bigger. This is just a tremendously heavy storm. And you can see they're in standstill traffic right now. And the reason for that is that this storm is showing rates of rain over 10 inches per hour, and that one's showing 23 inches per hour, which is probably a little bit of a fantastic number there. But we're looking at anywhere from 5 to 10 inches of rain per hour. Now, you're not going to get that much rain. It won't stay in one place for that long. But Commerce City, very hard hit with this particular storm, and we're seeing the indications of rotation, though out of this storm, it is a tornado warned storm. It is indicating rotation at the present time. It is moving to the northeast at looks like 8 miles per hour, and it's saying our computer models say it absolutely has severe hail in that storm. So again, if you live anywhere, and you know this is going on, but if you live just east of this, so if you're on the east side of Denver and you're little out Smith Roadway and out toward Green Valley Ranch area, north side of Commerce City. And then as you get into southern portions of Thornton and North Glen, out along I-76, if you live within a couple miles of I-76, this storm is going to be traveling to the north, north and east, almost paralleling I-76 right now. We also have a crew up I-76. Brian Willey is up at I-76 in Keansburg. He'll be moving back toward that storm. So as it goes farther and farther to the east, we'll be able to keep everybody, all our friends out west, on the Eastern Plains, Weld County, we'll be able to keep you guys informed of what's going on. So right now, 3 very large storm systems in the metro area at the present time. We have a severe storm, possibly tornadic storm, that is going on in the northeast side of the metro area, essentially in the old Stapleton neighborhood, and then up through Northfield and up along I-270, all the way north into parts of Thornton and North Glen. So again, we have that tornado warning. That's that red shaded area you see. The other 2 really heavy storms, one is going on right west of the Tech Center at the present time. And we're going to see the third in the southwest part of town, which has already been hard hit. Green Mountain area, southern part of Lakewood, western Cherry Hills Village, Sheridan, all looking at some moderate to heavy rain in those locations. And this is going to continue, unfortunately, throughout the air, throughout the afternoon and into the evening. We continue to have a tornado warning. There it is without the radar on top of it. That way you can see what we have going on here. It stretches from Cherry Hills Village to Commerce City. I would have to say that your most dangerous area that's in the most danger is going to generally be now north and east of Colorado Boulevard. So generally north and east of that line. Meteorologist Belen De Leon has been tracking and chasing these storms today, and of course she's on I-70 trying to make her way across town at the present time. Belen, it's got to be slow going out there. These storms are just dumping a lot of rain.
They sure are, Marty. You're traveling along I-70. First, we were headed out towards the west, and we dumped several cells that were just creating a massive amount of rainfall rates, where we were seeing ponding on the roads. People were definitely taking their time, slowing their speed at Splash. That was an issue. Now traveling eastbound, just a different situation. People are certainly taking their time and traveling slow, but just ahead of us, I can see that thunderstorm that it is severe thunderstorm right now that is under the warning area, and certainly people are feeding the advice, and they're probably bumping into some very heavy rain further along the road. We're not there yet, but that's what we suspect why people are slowing down. We've been seeing a lot of cloud-to-cloud lightning. The rainfall rate where we are so far is very light, but we suspect, of course, as we get closer, we're going to be coming to the back side of the storm, and that's when we'll be able to get into that heavier amount of rainfall. But the severe thunderstorm warning right now just ahead of us, people just taking their time. I don't know if you can see right now. It's a little difficult to see, but the trail of cars really coming to a very slow speed, a very slow pace, because of that storm that is just to the north of them, as you were mentioning, the heavy rainfall rate right now along Colorado Boulevard, and just in the northeast out towards Commerce City. So we're just chasing it. We're staying safe. We're in the backside of it right now. I don't suspect we'll be moving much faster than this for the next couple of minutes, as people are really in the thick of that storm just ahead of us right now. So we are approaching that severe thunderstorm that is just ahead of us. We are traveling east along I-70 at this very slow pace right now with the traffic right now, and people just kind of pressing on the brakes and taking it slow as they can. Right now, ponding not an issue here. Further out to the west, out towards Arvada, that's where we were seeing ponding on the road and splashback and a little more issues on the road. But right now, where we're at, not so much of an issue. Just ahead of us, again, that severe thunderstorm warning is issued. And again, that's why we suspect that all of these cars are just taking it as slow as they can, because they're bumping into some very heavy rain so far, Mark. But we're going to continue to track it as safely as we can, approaching the backside of the storm.
Belen, I apologize. Where are you on I-70 right now? Oh, okay.
We are approaching Brighton Boulevard, Baxter Boulevard. We're about 3/4 of a mile over Brighton Boulevard.
All right, thank you. Belen de Leon right now at I-70 Brighton Boulevard. Boy, it's a very heavy storm. And so Belen's right on the back side of this, and this is the tornado warned storm that we have going on. Goes until 2:30, central Denver, all the way to essentially the Jeppesen Terminal at DIA. Let me put that warning back up there for you. And what I'll do is I'm gonna pop the radar off for a second so you can get a view of the warning box. There you go. Again, it goes from I-25 and Colfax, stretches all the way east to E-470, northeast side of Aurora, southeast side of Thornton, and up along I-76. If I had to make a guess at it, I would say that the most likely area for some severe weather would be just ahead of where Belen is. That's going to be right there, pretty much at the intersection of I-70 and 270. I think that right now, given the storm structure that we have, I think that's probably going to be the most likely location. Again, she's kind of stuck at the mousetrap right now, trying to head off to the east and get into that storm. But again, it's very slow going because of the ridiculous amounts of rain and hail that we're seeing out of the storm. And of course, that's the way you want to be chasing things. You want to be behind them. Keeps you much more safe, keeps you from encountering a rain-wrapped tornado. Look at some of these radar estimates of rain, anywhere from 5 to over 20 inches of rain per hour. So, I mean, really tremendous rain around here. We're going to turn on local storm reports, see if we have any National Weather Service reports. Nothing coming in the metro area. Boy, we have a lot of folks calling into the Weather Center here and calling into us here in 9 News. Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin is here as well. And Kathy, I know you've been running through social media, you've been running through the telephone right now. So we have a lot of folks who want to participate and help us with this.
Marty, you were talking about the heavy torrential, the flooding rainfall, but how about the hail? If we can take Weather 8, the computer source, will show you the hail track just from the last hour or so. And the hail that has been developing over the Denver metro area has been pretty phenomenal. I don't know if you guys can take Weather 8. Watch this. The hail, the brighter the color, the bigger the hail. Look at some of these. Marty, check out these hail reports over downtown Denver. 1, 2, 3 inch diameter hail in this bullseye area right here. Unbelievable. Along with the wind, the lightning, and the rain, we are indeed tracking a very strong thunderstorm that still shows signs of rotation as it is pushing toward the northeast, just to the south of Brighton and Loch Buoy. This system has a history of producing large hail and heavy rainfall as it is tracking off to the northeast. And we remain under that tornado warning. Northwestern Arapahoe County, central Denver County, and western Adams County, again in northeastern Colorado until 2:30. About 70 to 80 lightning strikes in 20 minutes time here. And a severe thunderstorm in the metro area is already producing hail and heavy rain, but may also produce a funnel cloud or tornado at any time. So one of the greatest threats that we have with this particular storm is flying debris, and that can be so dangerous to those that are caught outdoors without shelter. If you're in a mobile home, it could be damaged or destroyed. You're going to have damage to rooftops, to plants, to trees, windows, and vehicles. If you are in Denver, northwestern Aurora, southern Thornton, eastern Arvada, southern Westminster, or Commerce City, also in North Glen, Brighton, Inglewood, or Greenwood Village, we ask you to take cover as this rotating thunderstorm continues to produce, again, signs of potential tornadic development. We have not had confirmation of that yet, but there has been some wind damage in the area, some broken windshields and skylights, and the system, as it pushes off to the northeast, will continue to be a very dangerous storm system for us to track. And again, in a tornado warning scenario, we ask you to take cover. We want you to move to a basement or an interior room, lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you're in a mobile home, a vehicle, or outdoors, we want you to move to the closest substantial shelter shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. There are 2 storms that we're tracking right around the metro area that have already had a history of producing hail over 1 inch in diameter. Just to the south and east of Denver along Leetsdale, north of Colfax, 1.9-inch diameter hail. Hail over 3 inches in diameter north of Aurora. This storm system developed rapidly in Jefferson County, pushing off to the northeast, and the hail amounts along with the rain we're still tallying. A lot of you sending in reports on Facebook and Twitter. We appreciate that so much, and your pictures are welcome too, but please be safe when you're outside in a severe weather event like this, taking pictures of what's happening above your house. And again, we want to remind you, tornado warning, northwestern Arapahoe County, Denver County, and western Adams County until 2:30. This system right over Denver proper has already produced 1 to 2 inches of rain, torrential rain that has impacted travel on I-25 and now will impact travel on I-76 heading up toward Brighton and Fort Morgan, and then eastbound out of Aurora out toward the Bennett, Byers, and Strasburg areas. These storm systems are continuing to develop. They're developing very rapidly and will push to the north and northeast as we see those upper level winds coming in from the southwest, also helping to create that shear in the atmosphere. And so with this tornadic development in the area, travel not advised in and around the city for the next half hour or so if you can avoid it. We're waiting to see if the National Weather Service will extend that tornado warning beyond 2:30 right now, as we're still getting preliminary reports in terms of the hail, the rain, and the funnel cloud activity in the area. Some reports of wind damage, still trying to assess if those are straight line winds or if there was any type of a touchdown near the Aurora area. And so as we're monitoring this system, tracking now up the I-76 corridor, kind of stretching up into Brighton and the Lockbuoy area, it continues to produce a lot of lightning, heavy rain that will certainly be impacting travel over the next few hours as well. We come into the straight level mapping here and show you that some of the higher cloud tops, some of the largest potential for hail is actually just to the east of Denver on East Colfax, south to the Alameda area, out toward Lowry Boulevard, and as we extend out toward Smith Road, Gun Club Road, these are areas where we are seeing travel impacted by the hail. High water, Havana Street. That cloud top right there is probably about 45,000 feet up into the atmosphere, and a lot of lightning with this system, which is extending up to the north toward the I-76 corridor. Marty, this is a pretty amazing storm system. It developed so rapidly this afternoon.
Oh, it's unbelievable, Kathy. I mean, we have this right now going at upwards of almost 60,000 feet. We have a 3-dimensional radar for you now, and I'm in front of it here. So here we are in Metro Denver. This is what we've done is we've sliced the storm vertically. So we're going all the way from the ground up to 50,000 feet. What you're seeing here are hail shafts. You're also seeing some very heavy rain that's moving through. Again, this is about 270 and I-70, and this extends. Here's the 50,000-foot line. This storm actually goes up to 60,000 feet with an intense column of hail. See this back edge here? This very, very bright white. That is a very large hail shaft that's moving through northeast Denver right now. So we're going to continue to see that move to the north and east as we go into this early part of the afternoon. So again, very strong thunderstorm. Anytime you go over 45,000 feet. In fact, this storm nudging the very top of our scale here. To give you a little point of comparison, the Lima tornado of 1990 was a 69,000-foot storm. So we're right at about 62,000 feet at the top of this storm. You can see the new data coming in. And again, on the back side of this, right about Quebec and I-70, I-225, I-70 area, this is where we're seeing this incredibly heavy rain and hail moving through the area as it moves to the north and east. This, folks, when you see something like this, this is a vertical view, as though we're looking at it at the ground, looking up. This is an intense, tremendously dangerous thunderstorm. So it's going to, again, here's I-70 in Quebec, just on the back side of this storm, and look at all this. See all that? That is fresh hail that has fallen down in the area right there. That is a live CDOT camera for you there. You can see the hail piled up along the side of the road in the median and on the side outside the guardrail. Folks just crawling along, and this is just a little bit east of where Belen was just a moment ago. And as we look through the afternoon and evening, we are anticipating a few more thunder showers moving through the area a little bit later on tonight. Now, they're not going to have the same intensity that we have this afternoon. This tornado watch only goes until 7, but late this evening, our latest models indicating that for folks up to the north in northern Colorado, where I know right now you go, well, we really haven't seen anything, and you haven't seen anything just yet. But later tonight, moderate to heavy rain moving out through Weld County, Morgan County, all the way up towards Sterling. So this is going to go past midnight tonight. So even though we have the sun coming out here in downtown Denver for the time being, we continue to see these warnings through the night. So let's go ahead. I'm going to talk to the control room for a moment. And if you guys want to, if Kathy's ready, great. If not,
I'm ready.
I'd love to take what you have there, Kathy, because that is amazing. I'm watching you set up there.
Oh, it's amazing, Marty. Our computer is able to track the center of this storm, which is just near Colfax Avenue, extending up to Commerce City. It is going to be right over the top of Aurora in 15 minutes, out toward Watkins area in about a half hour or so. In Manila, be on the lookout. The dew points are higher to the east of us. There's more shear east of Denver, so this storm is not going to collapse. It's not going to fall apart. It will only intensify. Let me show you the hail track just in the last hour or so. Unbelievable hail coming down. Marty showed some of the CDOT cameras around the area. Hail piling up on the roadways, impacting travel from central Jefferson County, where the storm developed about an hour ago. It pushed toward the northeast, and a nice hail path there that goes right through Lakewood, downtown Denver proper, and right out into the Aurora area. I'm going to zoom in and show you where some of the worst of the hail is. It's pretty remarkable when you see 1 to 3 inch diameter hail right here in the city. Thank goodness the heart of the rush hour, we're not really in the midst of that yet. A lot of people still at work, maybe still finishing up with school activities and things, but this is a busy week, a lot of graduations, a lot of kids with activities at Elitch's and field day, and this is a tough day to be caught outdoors when you have hail near Vasquez Boulevard, over 2 inches in diameter, hail east of Commerce City and north of Aurora in the 2 to 3 inch diameter area. But that's only part of the story, as we've gotten some heavy rain reports as well. Outside of Conifer, where the storm began, rain about 1.5 inches there, 1 to 2 inches of rain from Lakewood, Arvada through Denver out toward the Aurora area. And this system is now beginning to kind of stretch out a little bit, producing a lot of lightning from Cherry Hills Village straight up into the North Glen area and out that I-76 corridor. We've had reports of maybe 70 to 80 lightning strikes just in the last half hour. The entire area, including Denver, is under a tornado watch right now. And now I'm noticing that we also have a watch that is just down to the south of the Castle Rock area. That is a severe thunderstorm watch that has just been posted for southern Colorado, and that will be extended out through the evening as well. Large hail, certainly a potential for those of you traveling south out of Colorado Springs down into the Pueblo area or down to the Colorado-New Mexico line. That blue box again is a severe thunderstorm watch where, yeah, the weather is going to be awfully active today, but the bullseye for trouble is right here in the Denver metro area. And this is really what we're watching right now, is the severe cell, which popped up right about 1 o'clock, a secondary cell that's just south of Pueblo, and they're popping up and they're moving so very rapidly toward the northeast. The area that you see there in red is the tornado warning area. The area right next to it near DIA is the severe thunderstorm warning, which we expect may be canceled at any point, but at this point it's being extended out along with that tornado warning to 2:30, so at least another 7-8 minutes or so. But the way this storm is continuing to evolve, grow, and develop, it is doubtful that these warnings will be lifted. And so it looks like that central Denver area now, we're going to see a severe thunderstorm warning take over there, western Adams County, until 3 o'clock. This storm, the center of it, is right over eastern Commerce City, 12 miles northeast of Denver. It's moving northeast at 15. We have spotters in the area reporting funnel clouds, and I have not had confirmation of an actual tornado touchdown at this point, but concerns for some type of wind damage around the area as well. Now, the National Weather Service has just put out a tornado warning again for this same area. This is going to be extended out until 2:45 for western Arapahoe County, central Denver County, and southwestern Adams County until 2:45. And you can see exactly why. This storm, which is sitting right over the top of downtown Denver, is producing extensive straight line wind damage. It's located over northwestern Aurora, kind of the center of that circulation. That is 12 miles east of Denver. It is moving east at 15. The best circulation that we're seeing on our radar here with this severe cell appears to be close to DIA, and that means if you have travel plans in or out of the airport, you need to call ahead because certainly we're seeing a lot of circulation out there, Marty, along with the heavy rain and hail. So, Marty, that tornado warning now extended out until 2:45.
Yeah, it looks like they sent that right out along I-70 there, Kathy. So 245 east of E-470 right now. I want to do a little update now on DIA, and we just have some intense thunderstorms here going to DIA right now. DIA is grounded. They are not taking planes off. They are not landing any planes at DIA at the present time. They've had a couple diversions, but they haven't been able to tell us just how many. So no takeoffs, no landings at DIA. They have not done any evacuations at DIA. They're just kind of monitoring the situation. As we've seen, that tornado warning for DIA has now been allowed to expire. It's a severe thunderstorm warning. It is just south of DIA proper there in northern Aurora, out through Aurora into Centennial, and then all the way east out toward Watkins and Bennett and Byers. Again, I'll talk to the control room here. I want to show you guys again that storm that is over DIA. If we could bring up with Weather 9 here in the Weather Center, indicating the height of that storm. This is the storm that is right over Aurora at the present time, and we're looking at a thunderstorm moving to the north and northeast that is approaching 62,000 feet in height. This is a huge thunderstorm at the present time, and it just continues to build and is strong as it moves to the east. So again, what I have here is I have DIA right there. There's the airplane symbol. That's DIA. The tornado warning essentially goes along I-70 out there northern Aurora all the way out toward Byers, Bennett, and Byers and Bennett at the present time. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to include parts of Aurora, southern Thornton, eastern Arvada. No, excuse me, this is the one east of there. But again, you see this storm moving up to intense levels to 52,000 feet. And then as you go above that, this storm actually goes up to 60,000 feet. That is a severe storm. That is why we're getting these huge hail shafts on the back edge of this storm, a very heavy rain on the front edge, and that's why they're not taking off and landing planes right now at DIA.
The National Weather Service in Denver has issued a tornado warning for western Arapahoe County, central Denver County, southwestern Adams County until 2:45 p.m. At 2:20 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, severe thunderstorms capable of producing both tornadoes and extensive straight-line wind damage were located over northwestern Aurora, or 12 miles east of Denver, moving east at 15 miles per hour. The best circulation with this thunderstorm appears that it will move south of Denver International Airport. Heavy rain is occurring with this thunderstorm, which will likely obscure any tornadoes that are produced. Hazard: tornado and golf ball size hail. Source: radar indicated rotation. Impact: flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. Locations impacted include Denver, Elora, Northeastern Centennial, Southwestern Commerce City, Greenwood Village, Southwestern Denver International Airport, Arapahoe Park, Watkins, and Buckley Air Force Base. Precautionary preparedness actions. Take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If in a mobile home, a vehicle, or outdoors, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Motorists should not take shelter under highway overpasses. If you cannot safely drive away from the tornado,
At DIA again, no aircraft taking off or landing. And here's the irony of all this. You can see from radar, this storm is just now approaching the airport. And given, given the intensity of the hail that we've seen there and the wind, I don't want to speculate too much, but we could have some damaged aircraft there with the heavy hail. So that's something that we will be following throughout the afternoon. Again, here's that tornado warning. Central Denver, all the way to Parker Road, through 225, through Aurora, south and east through Centennial, and all the way east. It goes as far east, in fact, as Bar Lake, Brighton, Commerce City, and then all the way east toward Watkins. Yellow shaded area, severe thunderstorm warning till 3. Red shaded area, tornado warning until 2:45. And again, the worst of it just now moving toward DIA and Green Valley Ranch, moving through Green Valley Ranch, really getting hit hard in northeastern Aurora right now. Backside of the storm where this all started has actually calmed down just a little bit at the present time. So things are improving a little bit in the western suburbs of Metro Denver at the present time. Again, we showed you this a little bit ago, looking forward in time, thunderstorms rolling through and then redeveloping a little bit later this evening. We're going to see them move to the north. Computer models still have these storms moderate to heavy in intensity up Highway 85, 25 into northern Colorado through the afternoon and evening. So we are getting a lot of potential for severe weather that's going to go until at least 8 o'clock. Remember, we have this tornado watch. Watch means that we have the potential for severe weather from now through 8 o'clock tonight. It goes from Monument Hill all the way up into southeastern Wyoming. So some very heavy weather anticipated throughout the state tonight that could go past midnight. Now, a lot of folks, I've had a couple of calls this afternoon. Folks have stopped by and asked me about outdoor events tomorrow morning. We have so many of these high school graduations going on, and a lot of these are outdoor events. Right now, tomorrow morning looks a lot like this morning. Cloudy, a little damp, but no heavy rain in the area and certainly no severe weather in the area. So we are looking at a slightly improved situation tomorrow morning for what we have to now. In fact, a greatly improved situation. Unfortunately, tomorrow afternoon, we may also see some moderate to heavy thunderstorms. So thunderstorms throughout the afternoon, temperatures starting to drop into the 60s after we've gone later into the day and into the evening tonight. And then a little bit later in the evening, we should have these storms start to slow down a little bit, but it's not going to be till about 9 or 10. So even though it's a little bit sunny where you are now, later this evening, we'll get a little bit of back building, so there could actually be another round of storms. So anybody who's going out for softball or any kind of outdoor activities tonight, do bear that in mind. Even though it's cleared now, that does not mean that it will be later this evening. I would say we're not really going to be out of the woods until 10:30 tonight would be our earliest opportunity. So we've had huge amounts of hail reported with this storm. We see the hail right now. If we want to go ahead and just take our CDOT camera at the present time, there we are at I-70 and Colorado Boulevard. I mean, just a massive amounts of hail there on the side of the road. Folks still moving very, very slowly through that part of the metro area right now, and it's mainly because of all the intense rain that we've seen go through there right now. It looks like a little bit of quarter-inch diameter hail there, thanks to Nico Gota for that particular shot. We've seen a lot of hail piling up. Again, thank you to Maureen Williams. I don't have that actually looks like it might be conifer or evergreen, and that's where this whole thing started earlier in the day today. So very heavy hail up there. And some folks, in fact, we had one viewer tell us from conifer, he says, I've been up here 40 years. I've never seen hail like this. So again, we had big hail going on in the foothills. Give me a location on this. I'm going to guess 38th and Fox, but Brighton Boulevard, New York. So in the right neighborhood. So that's Belen de Leon. They're at Brighton Boulevard and York right now. Okay, you can see that there's been some street flooding there. We currently have this storm. I'm going to move forward and kind of cut over this storm. This is the core of the storm just west of DIA, still punching well above 50,000 feet. And again, where you see these big white shafts here, those are strong rain cores and strong hail cores that we have in the area, and it is directly under that storm, which is where we have that tornado warning going until 2:45. So it's pretty obvious to see why we would have that. I'll take the storm off just for a moment. You can see the warning area. It goes from central Denver, basically the mousetrap, east through most of Centennial and Aurora and out east toward Watkins. It does not include the terminal area at DIA, though they are in a severe thunderstorm warning. And it is this right rear flank of the storm. That's where you're generally going to see the tornadoes pop out. So on the back edge of these storms, that's where you're going to see tornadic activity. So if I were looking for a tornado, I would be looking back in this section of the storm, not necessarily out front. That's why we have that tornado warning going in that part of the storm at the present time. So very heavy weather going on in the metro area. We have just gotten, I believe, a confirmed report, 2 confirmed reports of tornadoes. Looks like we do. So let me pop those up for you. I'll put some details on these for you. We have, looks like a tornado, a little street flooding going on there, 205. So we did have, during that tornado warning, we did have a confirmed tornado in Aurora. Looks like another confirmed tornado in Aurora at 210. Let's see if we can get more detail on that. Looks like a rain-wrapped tornado. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on these, give you an idea of where these, no mention of damage in either one of these reports. So here we are. Looks like Iliff between 225 and Buckley. So we're going to be on Chambers Road. So it looks like Chambers Road is where we had 2 reports of tornadoes, one just north of Mississippi and the other just south of Iliff. So again, these are confirmed tornadoes today in Aurora, one at 205, one at 210. No word of damage. I haven't heard anything from our news side on any estimate or report of damage, but 2 confirmed tornadoes today in Aurora this afternoon, and a tornado warning continues for that part of the state. Goes until 2:45 again through Aurora, through southeastern Centennial, all the way to Watkins. We're seeing that go, and Storm Track is showing some very heavy thunderstorm that we've continued to see there. That is moving to the north and east, and let me track that for you. Again, it's going right through DIA at the present time. Still showing what we call a mesocyclone, and that's our fancy word for rotating cloud base. So we have a rotating cloud base. This is the storm that is directly west of the terminal of DIA at the present time. You can see the street flooding that we have at Brighton Boulevard and York. A lot of those underpasses in the older part of town do tend to flood up, but we had radar indicated rain between 5 and 11 inches. Bear in mind, a lot of folks driving through that, they hopefully are confident of the depth of that water. It doesn't look too bad, but you don't want to drive through anything more than axle deep, because that is extremely, extremely dangerous. Severe thunderstorm warning warning for the DIA terminal. They're not in the tornado warning, but they are not out of it just yet. Severe thunderstorm warning goes until 3 o'clock there. Turning the warnings off, we'll go back to radar here. I'll turn that storm track off, and for the moment, we'll turn these tornado reports off, and I'm going to give you an idea of where this storm is now. And literally, it is now one storm. It is coalesced into one very powerful thunderstorm at the present time. It is moving between 225 and E470 along I-70 and north. It's going up through Green Valley Ranch right now. So, boy, our friends there, Montbello, Green Valley Ranch, up along Pena Boulevard, and moving just toward the DIA terminal. I mean, to give you an idea, the terminal is right here. Just put an airplane on there for you for a little place marker. So this storm is moving up. It is compacting. It's coalescing. It is very strong, and it is moving right toward DIA at the present time. Rain has been a big issue with this. Again, it's showing just some of these incredible estimates of rain, anywhere from 5 to almost over a foot of rain per hour as it gets closer and closer to the terminal DIA. We've had large hail reported with this particular storm, and of course those 2 tornado reports, both in Aurora, both right around Chambers Road, between 2 and 2:15. I've not heard nor have I seen any indication of damage from those reported tornadoes earlier in the day today. So we have this ongoing situation where here in the next 10 or 15 minutes or so, I know we've just had a tremendous amount go on in town, and now we're going to start to see things shift a little bit more toward the airport. And of course, we have several $1 million of aircraft for you. All right. And we have Belinda De Leon live for us, and some good news. Kathy just gave me some good news. I'm going to put the warnings back on here, and notice that tornado warning in Aurora has been canceled. So the tornado warning has been canceled. And here's why, folks. It's that storm is essentially moved north of I-70. So we have storm chasers Belinda De Leon and Chris Chalene have been out and about today, and they have been running after this storm on the east side of town.
Baylin and Chris Chalene as well. The storm now shifting, as Marty said, north of I-70 and heading for DIA, where, as Marty pointed out, we have several $1 million worth of aircraft parked. And Kim, we've seen hail damage to aircraft at DIA before.
We certainly have, and a lot of street flooding in a lot of neighborhoods. Many people are contacting us from the Stapleton, Lowry, Aurora areas saying, we've got a good deal of street flooding in our neighborhood. The rain started roughly between 1 and 1:30 on the west side of town, as we talked about. Evergreen, Conifer, the people in Arvada, Golden felt it, and then it headed east, and now we're looking at some of the clouds and the rotation that we saw. Again, Marty's just giving us the good news that the tornado warning for Aurora has been canceled. However, 2 confirmed sightings of tornadoes in Aurora. No damage. This is the images from the 7th floor of the Children's Hospital. I believe that's the oncology unit. So, yeah. They have a perfect view there, as you know. They're right there in Aurora on the edge of town, they can see the clouds coming in, rolling in, and it's a serious storm. And now they're talking about the impact on the airport. We had delays yesterday. 23 flights diverted yesterday in the weather, and now we're hearing more about this tornado warning. We want to get back to Marty.
We just talked about the warning that had been canceled, just reissued now. So I'm gonna move this map up a little bit so you can see it, and we'll put text on it for you. This is a new tornado warning. It goes until 3:15 this afternoon. It essentially goes from E470 and I-70, and then directly either side of Interstate 70 all the way to Bennett. So this is going to include Eastern Aurora, Bennett, Manila Village, Watkins, and Buckley Air Force Base is included in this warning. And again, we talk about the most dangerous area of a storm as far as tornadic activity, and it is this back edge of the storm. So it's essentially at E470 and I-70. We definitely have a hook-looking shape there and some very, very dangerous-looking rotation. I'll turn Storm Tracks back on, see if it's continuing to show us a mesocyclone, what we call a mesocyclone in that storm. And what that indicates is that there's a massive amount of rotation in the back of that storm. So this storm is now moving to the east at 13 miles per hour. It is a tornado warning. If you live in the east side of Aurora, take shelter. Now if you live west of 225, you're fine. You're not in the warning. But if you're anywhere east of Chambers Road, you are currently in a tornado warning. So anybody east of Chambers, you are in a tornado warning at the present time. So please be aware of that. Now, we're still chasing the backside of the storm. Belen de Leon, meteorologist Belen de Leon, has been chasing this from the ground from the back. And we've got a lot of street flooding going on out in that area, don't we? Oh, it looks like somebody stalled. Ah, that's a bad deal.
We're hot. Alrighty, everyone. So now that the storm has moved past, I should say Commerce City, this is what we're left over with. Standing water. Right now, we're on Brighton Boulevard and York. So traffic on I-70 really slow going. We needed to get off I-70. We started traveling to the north. It looks like other people had the same idea in mind. And then we ended up arriving here in this area. So this is Brighton Boulevard and York. And you can see the railroad is just above. And people are trying to go under the railroad. And this is where that heavy amount of rain has deposited, and now people are trying to go through it. But unfortunately, the luck wasn't as, things didn't fare very well for some people. We have a car right here that is just stranded. The car was very low, and it seems like he got some water inside the motor, and now he's just kind of waiting for a buddy to come and pick him up. So now that the storm has moved off towards the east, and we're still seeing a couple of tornado warnings here where we're at in North Denver.
The National Weather Service in Denver has issued a tornado warning for northwestern Arapahoe County, south central Adams County, until 3:15 p.m. At 2:39 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over northeastern Aurora, or 17 miles east of Denver, moving east at 20 miles per hour. Heavy rain is accompanying this storm. Therefore, any tornado will probably be obscured by the heavy rain. This tornado warning replaces the warning that was in effect until 2:45 p.m. Hazard: tornado and golf ball size hail. Source: radar indicated rotation. Impact: flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. Locations impacted include Aurora, Bennett, Manila Village, Watkins, and Buckley Air Force Base. Precautionary preparedness actions. Take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If in a mobile home, a vehicle, or outdoors, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Motorists should not take shelter under highway overpasses. If you cannot safely drive away from the tornado, as a last resort, either park your vehicle and stay put, or abandon your vehicle and lie down in a low-lying area and protect yourself from flying debris.
because of this storm, a storm that has maintained for the last hour a height of more than 60,000 feet. Now, to give you an idea, kind of a run-of-the-mill average daily front-range thunderstorm is going to run about 35,000. So here we are with this thunderstorm that's approaching 65,000 feet right now. A tornado warning under it. And again, we have that back right flank of the storm. That's where we're really the most concerned about tornadic activity. We have huge hail shafts. See those streaks of white in there? We've made them that way to kind of make them look like hail, but that'll give you an idea of where some of the larger hail shafts are. Notice that you have hail aloft up at 30 and 40,000 feet. A lot of that hail never makes it down to the ground. A lot of that hail is recirculated up through the storm, and you can see it in these hot spots. But then down in the lower back end of the storm, you can see that it's making it all the way to the ground, and that's generally where you see hail fall out. It's going to be in that back edge flank of the storm, big downdrafts there, and you get that hail. So any thunderstorm, you have this huge hail up there, and that's one of the reasons why a DIA is shut down right now. You cannot fly in conditions like this. It's extraordinarily dangerous. Tornado watch. Get back to the watch. Remember, potential for tornadoes. Monument Hill up I-25 all the way into southeastern Wyoming. Lyman, Brush are the eastern extent. We really don't think we have a lot of dynamics for tornadoes farther to the northeast, Sterling, Julesburg, Akron, Yuma, Ray. But for our friends out there over the plains later tonight, you are going to get a lot of lightning. You could get some moderate-sized hail in that part of the state, and you could get some very heavy rain. So even though you're not technically in this watch right now and there's nothing going on for you right now, well past midnight tonight, we are anticipating storms for you. So this is going to be an ongoing situation there. We also have the severe thunderstorm watch that is now in effect, Monument Hill to the south over the southeastern plains. You know, in any form, we'll take rain in southeastern Colorado, and we are beginning to see some rain and thunderstorms form, especially the Los Animas and Baca County right now, scooting up toward the Arkansas River. So it is really great, frankly, to see rain in any form there. Again, here is our tornado warning, goes until 3:15. That this storm continues to show what we call very strong mesocyclone. It's kind of a medium-sized cyclone. It's a rotating cloud base. So we have a radar-indicated tornado. It looks like the westernmost extent on this is just south of I-70, right at E-470. This is E-470 for you, right here, and that's scooting off to the east as we go, and that's why we have that tornado warning till 3:15 all the way toward Bennett. And so that includes Manila Village, Watkins, just south of DIA, and extreme eastern sections of Aurora and southeastern Aurora. You see these two tornado symbols at 205 and 210, two confirmed tornadoes in Aurora. No reports of damage, Mark and Kim, and that's really important, and we're really happy to hear that. And oh boy, look at that! Oh gosh, guys, look at this. Let's go to the CDOT you have there. Oh, look at the hail out there at E470 and I-70. Oh my goodness,
that is amazing, Marty. And you say, is it going more east along I-70 there, or is it going northeast?
You know what it's doing? It's really lifting more northeast. So in fact, if you guys go ahead and if you want to take the Weather 8 source, Kathy's got it looping for us here, and you can see how it's taken this northeast turn and headed. There it goes to the north and east. So it's really kind of bracketed between I-76 and I-70. And to give you an idea, we have a crew in Keansburg right now. We have Kevin Torres on Highway 71 just east of there. Belen is right behind it. So we really have this storm triangulated at the present time with the severe thunderstorm warning going at DIA at until, I believe, 3 o'clock, and then this tornado warning for the Bennett area that goes until 3:15. So we've got a lot going on out there, and the lightning has picked up a lot as well.
And Marty, you know, as you talked about DIA, Green Valley Ranch, very close by. Aaron Smith is telling us on Twitter, the sirens are going off, a lot of hail in Green Valley Ranch, and a lot of areas hit by this earlier. We tend to forget that Elitch's is open already.
Yes, we do.
And it was Big Education Day. A bunch of middle schoolers, end of school, they get to spend some time at Elitch's. The alarms went off. They had to shut down the rides, and they had people go to shelters at Elitch's. And then they told them they could leave if they wanted to. But now, since the storm has passed there, they're opening the park back up. Kids are going back in. So they're heading back in. It's going to be a little chilly,
a little chilly
damp,
at the pool today.
But, if you're in middle school and you have a choice of being in the classroom or being at Elitch's, you're probably still sticking around.
No matter what's going on,
right?
You'd rather be at Elitch's,
so,
of course. That's
Education Day, a lot of kids from all over enjoying that. Also, if you went shopping, you had an experience too at the Cherry Creek Shopping Mall, Shopping Center. They also sheltered everyone, the merchants and associates. They went to the lower level. They sought shelter on the lower level until they got the all clear as well, because when those sirens went off, they had to deal with all the people in the mall.
And again, even a bad day at the mall is better than a good day at work. So
that's right. And this is DIA. So right now, no planes taking off. It's a ground hold. As Marty talked about, probably a lot of the airlines and everyone else saying, okay, we can deal with the ground hold, the delays and the diversions. We also have some very expensive aircraft that we hope are not getting hammered by this hail. But more importantly, it's the wind shear that he talked about. It's so dangerous and so risky when you see a storm of this size, and he understands that better than anybody else when you're talking about the height of the storm. And if you've ever flown into DIA just during, heavy winds or a dry, hot day in the summertime, you feel it.
It's a tough landing. And Cheryl Preheim is standing by. And Cheryl, we're seeing a lot of great pictures from our viewers who are all just as we are, kind of trapped indoors and watching this all happen through our cameras. They're watching through their cameras as well.
Absolutely, Mark and Kim. And as we see all the pictures coming in on Facebook, Twitter, and on 9news.com, what really strikes me is just how expansive this storm is. Here's some hail in Conifer that's well over the size of a quarter. And Marty was talking about how this storm system is 60,000 feet up. So this is a shot right outside here, 9 News Denver, of what it looks like on the bottom side of that system. And this shot, really, I know a lot of people have been planting. We had that snowstorm on Mother's Day. So in the last week, people have been planting in their gardens. And the hail's really doing a number to a lot of bushes and new plants. Somebody here in Commerce City tried their best to cover up as much as they could. Two ways you can share with us, and we love to see your pictures, really helps us tell the story, is you can go to your take on 9news.com, which is what we're looking at here. You can also do a hashtag 9weather, and you can share it there. So let me go back here and go show you some more pictures. But what we're seeing is, what's amazing is a lot of this big hail is from Littleton to Ken Carroll to Conifer to Aurora. So we'll send it back to the Weather Center now with Kathy. But Kathy, it's really amazing to see a similar story in so many different parts of the Denver metro area. It gives you an idea of just how enormous this storm really is.
It's interesting, Cheryl, because the thunderstorms that we had yesterday, there were several weak storms that came together into one line and then pushed toward the northeast. The storms today really started out in two little separate cells, have come together now as one strong cell, which is continuing to gather strength as it pushes off to the north and east. And we continue looking at rotation within this storm, and radar is indicating a little bit of a hook as well. Spotters in the area reporting funnel clouds, and again, we had those two touchdowns north of Aurora this afternoon, assessing the damage in that area. The other big piece of this story is the rain, heavy flooding rain in the 1 to 4 inch range. This storm system started in the foothills, coming out of Jefferson County, rolling into Douglas County, and then pushing right across Denver and out toward the DIA area, producing anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of rain. And the hail with this system has been amazing as well. Hail reports coming in of hail 2 to 3 inches in diameter, but also piling up several inches deep on the roadways. And so those traveling in on I-25 have really run into some difficult travel this afternoon. And even though the sun is out in downtown Denver, we are still seeing a lot of flooding underneath some of those bridges, underneath some of the overpasses, and we're seeing that water and that hail really piling up. This system still showing signs of rotation with this tornado warning out through 2:45 now. I believe they're going to extend it out, and we can see really the height of this cloud top, as Marty showed us, close to 50,000 feet up into the atmosphere. And when a cloud goes that high, it gives that hailstone a lot of time and a lot of height to build and accumulate and become quite large by the time that cloud just drops it right out. So when we see these bright red and purple returns indicating cloud height, we do know that large hail is going to be a big threat for us as well. This system is pushing toward the northeast, headed towards the Keensburg area, Byers, Strasburg, Bennett, out toward Fort Morgan. Overnight, there was some flooding in Morgan County from some thunderstorms that did back build from yesterday. And if you look at our picture-in-picture scene here, we are looking at I-70 here, and there's a lot of water on the roadway. So even though the sun is coming out, it's going to take a little while for road conditions to improve with the rain and hail that we have seen with this system that developed so rapidly right around 1:15 this afternoon. This major storm system, you can kind of see a little bit of a hook on the end here, and we're really watching this area right here as that tornado warning does remain in effect. Severe weather will also flank the northwest side of this storm system as it pushes toward the northeast, and really straight line winds are something that we're seeing a lot of wind damage, straight line and extensive wind damage, along with the lightning that is coming in with this system, anywhere from about 70 to 100 strikes in about 20 minutes time. The rain has really been pretty amazing as well, and we do see there is a severe thunderstorm watch out for southern Colorado heading into the evening, but it is a tornado watch that we see here in the Denver metro area, and so that is certainly something that we're going to continue to monitor for you throughout the evening. The rain reports continue to come in, and we so do appreciate those. If you want to follow us on Facebook and Twitter and help us track this storm system as it pushes toward the I-76 corridor, heading up toward the Keensburg area on the northernmost flank, we continue with that potential rotation over the southeastern section of the Denver metro area. And so, you know, Kim and Mark, we're going to continue to watch this system evolve and develop. The good news is back behind it, back off toward the west, we're not seeing a lot of additional development, so that's good. But when you have a powerful thunderstorm like this, what you have to do is watch, because sometimes on those outflow boundaries, we can get a secondary line that can form. And looking off to the east in downtown Denver, you can see sunshine right over the city, but off to the east, those clouds are still really dark, and there's a lot of wind and lightning. And really, you can see that bulk of that system is right over the northeast corner of downtown Denver, right over DIA, and extending up that I-76 corridor. And we'll continue to show the picture-in-picture views, which show varying degrees of cloud cover across the metro area and around the Front Range. And again, that tornado warning now extended out through 3:45 because of the rotation and the large hail that we are seeing with this system as well. So I back out of the picture here and kind of give you a better idea of what's happening here. We are going to continue to watch this system. And Kim and Mark, are you guys still monitoring this as well?
Yes, we are.
We are.
And we actually have a little bit of an update, Kathy, as this starts to scoot along. You know, they were holding a lot of kids in school this afternoon, Kim, most especially in Cherry Creek. They announced that they were holding kids.
Right. So the high school kids usually get out earlier, and because they weren't able to get the buses to them, they're now sending the buses to the high school kids to pick them up, which means everybody else, middle school, elementary school kids, they're going to be a little late today because they're going to pick up the high school kids first. They just never have enough buses to go around in any school district. Same thing happened in Cherry Creek yesterday. They had to hold some kids in some schools, and they actually also kept some after-school program kids until the weather passed. So.
Yeah, we know this plays havocs with parent schedules, but what do you do? I mean, the weather is just one of those things. You can't start sending kids homes in weather like we were experiencing in most of Cherry Creek about 45 minutes to an hour ago. They even have some kids who walk, and those kids, it has to be perfectly safe before they release those kids to make the walk home. So.
Right, and there's so much street flooding in parts of Aurora too that it's a good decision to make that choice. And if you look at that right now, and
Kathy's back. You have another warning?
Well, we're just kind of watching how this cell is sort of evolving and how it is progressing off toward the north and east. And the area shaded in red here, that tornado warning box, you can see does extend out across Aurora, city of Aurora proper, and up the E470 area. But concerns now around the Byers, Bennett, and Strasburg areas as we're getting reports of a lot of wind, lightning, and heavy rain in the area. And so this will be something that will be ongoing for the next hour or so, even though the warning is set to expire for Bennett here at 3:15. Eastern Adams and Arapahoe County, just right on the southern flank of this storm, which is now beginning to kind of stretch out a little bit, and it's also beginning to push up toward the north. And so while conditions are improving in the metro area, we want to watch what's happening off to the west of town in the hopes that we will not see another line form on the outflow boundaries. Again, we had 2 tornado touchdowns, one north of Aurora, one south. No confirmation of damage damage or injuries at this point. Hail reports continue to come in. Hail 1 to 3 inches in diameter, and still showing signs of rotation off to the east of E470. And travel is really not advised in this area as well, because what's happening is it's producing a lot of rain, heavy torrential rainfall. And so the funnel clouds that the spotters are seeing out there are rain wrapped in many cases. And so if one of those funnels did touch down, you wouldn't see it. You would drive into a wall of water, and if there was a tornado there, you wouldn't see it. So the biggest threats that we're hearing from spotters on the ground in the area is the potential for another rain-wrapped tornado, but also the extensive straight-line wind damage that is occurring with this storm system that is evolving and developing and pushing off toward the northeast. And again, we're seeing the greatest amount of storm reports really coming in from Aurora, southeastern Aurora, and right on sort of the western fringe there of E470, kind of right as that storm system is crossing it. We're seeing a lot of wind and lightning as well. It's picking up speed a little bit, and as it pushes off to the east of us and moves into the tornado watch area, this is something that we'll want to monitor as well, because the atmosphere is actually more unstable further to the east. There's been a little more heating this afternoon. The low-level moisture is certainly intact, so those dew point numbers are a whole lot higher. And some of these cloud tops, again, as Marty mentioned, well over 50,000 feet into the atmosphere. And so the potential for tennis ball-sized hail like we saw yesterday certainly does exist. We're going to show you picture-in-picture here, and we're looking at DIA, where there's no travel in or out of the airport right now, simply because of this rotating storm in the area and the tornado warning that has been posted. And now we're starting to see 1, 2, 3, and 4 potential tornado touchdown areas. And so we're gonna look into that. You know what, Kim and Mark, let me look into that storm report, and I will be back with you in a second. If you guys can take it for a minute, I'm curious about what the storm report has to say about those 4 tornado touchdowns. So I'll be right back with you.
All right, Kathy.
Okay, Kathy. In fact, we want to go out to 225 and 6 because our Whitney Wild has been following the storms, and she looks like she's standing in the middle of a snowfield, but she is not.
It's all hail, isn't it, Whitney?
That's exactly. Oh, sorry. Hey, Mark. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. So we're here at near 6th and 225 in Aurora. Let me show you how thick the hail has accumulated. In some cases in this parking lot, the hail is 8 inches to a foot deep. Earlier, this was all water, so these chunks of hail were floating, but luckily crews were able to drain this parking lot, so I'll step to the side so our photographer can show you how fast the water is moving here. I talked to some of the folks in this neighborhood, and they said it all happened in about 20 minutes, so that just shows you how really serious and violent this storm is, because all of this, a foot of hail accumulated in just about 20 minutes to a half hour. Kim, Mark.
Whitney, we don't know how if you're tethered to your camera or not, but if you can give us a swing around and give us a look at that, that would be very interesting, because we know they got a lot of hail in that particular section.
Well, we're in a like a neighborhood right now, so we can show you, Corky, they want us to swing around to the side, so we'll show you what people are looking at as they drive through their own neighborhood. So you can see big puddles of water, and then as you can see, the hail is continuing to accumulate on the neighborhood streets. So see how slowly these cars are going, because they're worried they're going to get stuck in this really thick, heavy hail. So that's what people in this neighborhood are looking at. A couple blocks up the street, though, the street is covered in hail. I've been tweeting since we got on scene, and I will continue to do that so that you guys can get a really good picture of what people are looking at.
Whitney, when we see them approach that slowly, that's encouraging, because we actually heard about some accidents last night that were caused because of the hail, and it can be slick, and as you said, it's piled up really deep. Can you tell us about any damage? Because that's something people always think of. You know, you think, oh no, like if I got a new car or a new windshield with the hail.
We haven't seen any damage yet, so the hail, I'll pick it up so you guys can get a good look at how big it is. It's really light. I would almost equate it to Dippin' Dots. It's about that same size, so it's about pea size, not very heavy, so we haven't seen a lot of damage on cars. We did, on our way here from Denver, see a tree that looked like it had blown over. There's no way to know if that's because of the storm, though, or if that had been like that before we got there, but one thing to consider is that there are reports of wind damage throughout Colorado because of this storm. storm. We haven't seen any of that yet, but we're certainly keeping our eyes open for any damage.
Yeah.
I know there's been a real problem, too, in the last few days. We can see that drain just behind you that's plugged with leaves, and we were watching yesterday, especially under the underpasses where those drains would fill up with all of that storm debris, and then the water wouldn't run off. And we saw that at Brighton, New York today as well, where a storm drain plugged, and that's what's resulted in a lot of the flooding, certainly as all this begins to melt.
When we drove here from Denver, we saw, you know, when storms like this, they're always like the usual suspects. Certain intersections get flooded, and we did start to see that streets that are just waterlogged. But as you can see, the sun is coming out, so perhaps that water will dry up quickly. And I know crews here in this neighborhood have been working to make sure that that drain is clear because all of the leaves get stuck in it so quickly and easily, and that contributes to the danger of this because, of course, it gets more wet. That means that the hail is slicker and so forth.
Well, just in the time that we've been talking to you, we watched the sun come out, but we see all that hail, and she talks about the trees. For someone that has, we've lost a tree that way in the spring storm because what happens is that wind, as you said, rolls through, and it's just butted out, so it gives it just enough strength that the leaves, that the wind comes rolling through and knocks down a tree.
Yeah, no
so
question.
I know it's hard to say for sure what the damage is, but boy, you have quite the images with all the hail there, Whitney.
That's exactly right. So, and we'll continue. Like I said, we're going to be tweeting. I'll try to send out some Vine videos so you can get little quick snapshots of what's going on out here. But we're on top of it, and we'll keep you guys updated.
Great.
Colorado, you need to get your shovel out in the springtime.
Yes, you do.
Always.
We'll follow you on Twitter, Whitney. Thank you very much. And we just got a peek. Sky 9 is up now this afternoon, and some of the sunshine, and they're following the storm as it progresses east and northeast this afternoon. And Marty has been telling us that it looks like it's moving more northeast than it does due east, Marty.
Yes, it does appear to be tracking a little bit more north of I-70 at the present time, though we still have that tornado warning in effect. You know, we've had folks have been great about this, of sharing video pictures with Twitter, with Facebook. This is posted to our Facebook page. Jennifer Strassheim sent this in again. This gives you, if it hasn't hailed at your house today, gives you a flavor for what has gone on around the area today. Of course, now we have the 4 tornado reports. We have the new one that is coming in now. This is a brand new tornado report that is coming in off this tornado warning out I-70 right around Bennett is where this new one is. The other ones reported all near Aurora. Looks like 2 reports of a tornado kind of straddling Chambers there and down in the Iliff and Chambers area in and around there. Tornado warning has since been allowed to expire, or they've actually canceled it. Check this out. Andrew sent this in from Conifer, and they had 2 inches of hail. Hail fell 2 inches deep in the Conifer area earlier in the day today, and that's what got this whole thing started. It started up around Evergreen and Conifer and then rolled right down Highway 285 and moved our way as we've gone through the afternoon and evening. You see folks there at Conifer High School kind of reacting to that storm as it moved through. So again, hail here in town, hail in the foothills, and moderate to heavy thunderstorms to the north. But the good news is, and we'll pop back here, good news is that tornado warning has, for the moment, been canceled. But a lot of times, Kim and Mark, what happens is that one is allowed to expire and canceled. We reevaluate the storm, and then as we move forward in time, we could see it reissued at any moment. There's still significant curve on the back edge of that tornadic thunderstorm, so we could see that tornado warning reissued, especially from I-70, between I-70 and I-76 out around Bennett, and then over towards Strasburg as well, and then all the way up toward Prospect Valley.
Marty, this kind of looks like yesterday where maybe it's just going to scoot out, and there wasn't a lot of reforming of storms last evening that I recall.
There wasn't. Tonight we might have a little bit more of that kind of thing. Nothing. I honestly believe that by 7, 8 o'clock tonight, our severe potential here in the metro area will be very low, but I do think that it could continue over the eastern plains, Weld County, up 85, Greeley area, out toward Fort Morgan, and even toward Sterling late tonight after sunset. There's going to be a tremendous amount of rain, and it's so early in the season. as you can see, you get a lot of hail out of these storms because the freezing level is super, super low right now. So in summertime, in July, some of these hailstones would never make it to the ground because it's too hot and the freezing level's up at 15,000 feet. Well, a day like today, you get the freezing level a little closer to 10, 11,000 feet. It's very easy for these hailstones to all make it all the way to the ground.
Marty, do you think the airport's out of danger at this point, or are they still in the thick of it?
You know, I do believe that they're doing better. They're in the back edge of this storm, so I guess if we wanted to say as far as danger goes, yes, they've actually their situation has improved tremendously from what it was, say, an hour ago. I'm actually gonna manipulate the radar here and give you an idea of what things are looking like out there right now. So and while I'm at it, let's take a look at this tornado report. It looks like Watkins 245 reported. That's that latest tornado report that I talked about. Let's get some details on that. And it just says it's a tornado, no report of damage or anything. So there's DIA right on the back edge. So you guys just showed us that DIA cam. So again, that's looking pretty good at the current time for improvement. Notice the rest of town, there's not really all that much going on around here. Very well. Linda Katsaftis, our producer, just told me in my ear that DIA just tweeted that they're getting back to normal. They, of course, are going to have delays and reschedulings and so forth as we go. So I've done storm tracks on this storm, still indicating rotation in this particular storm. There are no current warnings. To give you a little bit of geography here, this guy is just north of Watkins, where we did have a report of a tornado at 2:45. There are no active warnings on this storm at the present time. We have a very strong thunderstorm moving to the east at 18 miles per hour, indicating rotation and almost up to 2-inch diameter hail in the area just east of DIA. So again, a lot of rural areas between I-70 and I-76 with some moderate to heavy hail. And Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin, again, Kathy, this is amazing. It's like yesterday, it's the only game in town, but it's a big game.
Although we didn't have as much rotation yesterday or as much shear in the atmosphere. Marty, are you buying the 4 touchdowns, or do you think that one rain-wrapped one in Aurora was the same one?
I'm sure it was the same one.
2 reports of the same one?
Yeah, 2 reports at the same time.
And I have not heard reports of damage or injury at this point. Have you?
No, nothing.
Wow. Well, you know what? If you all put Weather 9 behind us here, we will show you, first of all, some aerial coverage. Cody Crouch up there in Sky 9 showing an amazing winter landscape at Northfield Shopping Center. It looks like winter in springtime up there with a layer of hail on the ground that has turned that green grass winter white this afternoon. Our Sky 9 is following these tornadic thunderstorms this afternoon, giving us a bird's eye view of the scale and scope of the damage from this severe storm that produced heavy flooding rainfall, hail 6 to 10 inches deep in some places, we're understanding from our crews in the field, and so much rain on the roadways that traffic has actually come to a standstill. And you know what? It is the only game in town, as Marty mentioned. This is it. Just like yesterday, that bullseye for heavy weather right over the top of the Denver metro area. These storms developing in the foothills west and south, and then just kind of blowing up over the city and then pushing off toward the north and east. And you know what? It's amazing as we track this storm system. We'll continue to monitor it for you. If we have Weather 9 behind us, I can zoom in and kind of give you a better idea of where this storm system is going to head, because it is picking up speed. The winds right now coming out of this storm system are really pretty impressive, and we're still seeing signs of rotation just east of E470. Again, travel in and out of the airport will be compromised with this storm for at least another half hour, maybe 45 minutes, simply because of the outflow winds that we're seeing, but also the rain. The rain has been tremendous. We have seen anywhere from a half an inch inch of rain in the foothills west of Denver to a third of an inch down to the south of Lakewood, but well over an inch, almost 3 inches of rain extending across Aurora and Lakewood out toward E470, out toward the Byers, Bennett, and Strasburg area. Still seeing some really good rotation with this system now, as it's taken more of an easterly track, originally going northeast at 10 to 20. Now it's moving off to the east. But look at these little tornado symbols that you're seeing are tornado reports. And at this point, no damage or injuries reported, which is amazing. But when you see this purple shaded area here, this storm system is shooting up about 50,000 feet into the atmosphere. And that means large hail, damaging winds, and heavy flooding rain are certainly a potential, because when that cloud goes up so far and you have those little hailstones just kind of bouncing around in there and getting bigger and bigger and bigger, the higher the cloud, the bigger the hailstone, until it can't hold it anymore, and boom, out they come. And yesterday we had tennis ball, egg-sized hail, and that is certainly something that we may be reporting on overnight tonight. So 1, 2, 3, 4 tornado reports so far this afternoon coming in from this area. 2 of those rain-wrapped, and again, hail close to an inch in diameter. A lot of the activity centered in and around Centennial and Aurora, just like what we saw yesterday, and certainly sort of that focus mechanism for this very strong storm, which is pushing off to the east. A tornado warning now reissued. Bennett, you are right smack dab in the middle of this. I'm going to grab our tornado warning information here. And again, we have that tornado warning out north central Arapahoe County, east central Denver County, and south central Adams County, all in northeastern Colorado, as you know. We now have a confirmed tornado located on the ground over northeastern Aurora, 24 miles east of Denver. It is moving east at 20. Trained weather spotters are chasing this storm. They continue to report funnel clouds, but now spotters saying a confirmed tornado on the ground in northeastern Aurora. Tornado sirens are going off right now. We have a wall cloud, a clearly visible wall cloud in the area, and the storm is not only producing the confirmed tornado now, but we have heavy flooding rain. So visual confirmation of any additional rotation or tornadic development is going to be very difficult with this storm system. The storm has a history of producing tornadoes. We've had at least 4 tornado reports with this cell. And again, this red shaded box, if you are in this area, we want you to take cover now. Lowest level of the building, a sturdy shelter. If you don't have a basement, you want to go into an interior room or closet. Stay away from windows. If you can grab a weather radio, something always good to have on hand in Colorado this time of year. Make sure you've got batteries for that, because this is an event that may be going on for a large part of the evening and then may reoccur again tomorrow. So I want to tell you that if you are in eastern Aurora, out at the eastern terminals at DIA, Bennett, Strasburg, Manila Village, and Watkins, a tornado warning issued with this cell that we've been monitoring for the last hour and a half. A tornado warning has been continued out until 3:45 for this cell, which is just kind of blossoming, stretching out. And again, spotters on the ground confirming a tornado northeast Aurora. And again, if you're in the city that is 24 miles east of Denver, this storm is moving toward the east at 20 miles per hour. We're looking at the towering cumulonimbus that are building over the city. This vantage point is looking off toward the east this afternoon. Sunshine along the Front Range foothills, the western suburbs, but this system very dangerous as the cell tracks off toward the east. And really, flying debris is something that's really going to be something that will be a big threat this afternoon, not only from the straight line winds in the area, but these rotating clouds. And we've already had 1, 2, 3, and 4 confirmed tornado reports with this system that is now pushing just to the north of I-70 if you're traveling out this way. The tornado watch area does include the Denver metro area up to Fort Collins, Greeley, and Fort Morgan. It also extends south into Highlands Ranch, Castle Rock, and also out around the Lyman area. And the tornado watch extended out through 8 o'clock now. Further to the south, it's a severe thunderstorm watch. So if you're driving out of Denver down to the Colorado-New Mexico line, a severe thunderstorm watch where the threat of rotating storms is a little bit less than what we're seeing here. Hail reports across the city with our hail tracker. Impressive. Our crews in the field have shown us that the hail is piled up several inches deep and is certainly impacting travel around the area. Standing water, flooding rain.
National Weather Service in Denver has issued a tornado warning for north central Arapahoe County, east central Denver County, south central Adams County until 3:45 p.m. At 3:14 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, a confirmed tornado was located over northeastern Aurora, or 24 miles east of Denver, moving east at 20 miles per hour. Trained weather spotters chasing the storm continue to report funnel clouds and wall clouds associated with this thunderstorm. The storm is also producing heavy rainfall, making visual confirmation of any tornadoes difficult. The storm has a history of producing a tornado and is capable of producing additional tornadic activity with little warning. Hazard: damaging tornado and ping pong ball size hail. Source: weather spotters confirmed tornado. Impact: flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. Locations impacted include Eastern Aurora, Eastern Denver International Airport, Bennett, Strasburg, Manila Village, and Watkins. Precautionary preparedness actions. To repeat, a tornado is on the ground. Take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If in a mobile home, a vehicle, or outdoors, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Motorists should not take shelter under
storm, so more than one funnel cloud in that wall cloud at the base, and they're just saying that the chasers in the area are reporting there is so much rain with this system you cannot see the tornado or the funnel cloud if you're in this area, and that's what makes the storm so very dangerous. So if you are anywhere near Bennett, Aurora, Eastern Aurora, don't head to DIA right now. Call ahead, flydenver.com. Heath Montgomery out there giving us some updated information on the situation out there, but planes are not going in or out of the airport. Bennett, Strasburg, Manila Village, and Watkins. We do want you to take cover. This is a very dangerous storm system, and you know, our Cody Crouch up there in Sky 9 showing those dense, heavy rain bands coming down. You cannot see more than a quarter of a mile, if that, and they're certainly monitoring those ragged clouds that are developing on the southeast flank of this storm as well. Day 2 of our severe weather scenario here, and at last count, 4 tornado reports. Rain-wrapped tornado touchdown near the Aurora area, and that was just after 2 o'clock. We have also had reports of large hail in the area, street flooding, and certainly some concerns for these storms as well. Additional development in El Paso County now. Severe thunderstorm warning in the Colorado Springs area. So if you're headed out of Denver and headed down south, think about that, because all of the activity isn't centered over eastern Denver right now. There are also some storms that have developed to the south and west of us. So Mark and Kim, an active afternoon. We've got chasers and spotters on the ground confirming a tornado over northeastern Aurora. They're watching this wall cloud developing multiple vortices or multiple funnel clouds, and you can see from these pictures from Cody, you cannot see through that rain.
Yeah, no question.
That's what makes it so dangerous.
Kathy, we have, in addition to all this incredible live video, we also have some video we're going to show you shortly of the very wall cloud that you're talking about, with one of the vortices that appears to be extending out of the base of the cloud, and looks fairly threatening. We'll have that for you in a moment.
And we've been talking a lot about what they've seen in Aurora. Kathy mentioned that 2 sightings of tornadoes, no damage reported from those tornadoes between 2 and 2:30, but a lot of flooding and a lot of hail. And we want to talk to Alex with Alex's Auto Repair.
Right.
He's near Smith and Moline, and that's really close to an area, Alex, where I saw some dramatic video of street flooding. We were going to talk to him a little bit more about what was going on street flooding wise out
People
there.
are in and out in the weather. Cell phone connection is not the best. Denver police are also saying there's massive hail right now at 68th and Tower Road, as this storm continues to track in that direction. And another place where it's going to be difficult to travel because of the hailstones that are now cluttering the roads and heading for the storm drains in that area.
Well, you need a shovel in some parts of Aurora, as we saw from Whitney Wild's pictures earlier. And she was near 225 and 6th, and piles of hail. She compared it to dipping been dot size in that area, but they had a whole lot of it, not necessarily damage causing when it came down. But she said they did see some trees down. They couldn't determine if that was caused by the storm or what else. And of course, we're stripping a lot of trees of all those new leaves that have just budded out.
We can only hope they're able to throw their second set. Meanwhile, look at this. We're seeing big holes in it. As Kathy said, sunshine is beginning to punch through in parts of the storm as it reaches a disorganized state towards the back of the storm as it kicks out. But still just ahead of the storm, there's a lot of water, still a lot of hail, and we're still seeing some rotation in these clouds as it continues to track northeast. Much as the storms did yesterday, southwest to northeast of tremendous intensity, these fairly localized cells that are dumping a great deal of water, not doing a lot of damage. As Kim said, we're not hearing reports of a lot of damaged windshields in cars or around apartments or condominiums or to structures. Kathy, mostly we're just hearing a lot about of wind, water, and hail.
That's exactly right. And certainly impacting travel coming in on I-25 from the south. You drive into a wall of water and then you hit the hail, and everybody, they don't know what to do. You know, it's been a while since we've had to deal with this, and so a lot of people actually just stopping on the freeway, and then the water is starting to accumulate. So really the last half hour on I-25 has been pretty amazing. And my colleague Marty Caniglio just telling me now we have 5 confirmed tornado reports, these coming in from spotters, chasers, and the National Weather Service in the area. So a very dangerous storm system, actually a couple of cells coming together, creating just this storm that really continues to grow and intensify. Now the area shaded in red is the area under the warning, the tornado warning out until 3:45. And we can also kind of see how what was just kind of one large cell, like supercell, is kind of extending out now in a line that goes from I-76 just outside Fort Morgan down to I-70 and just to the north and east of the Parker area. So we want to watch this because it's not shrinking by any stretch. It's actually becoming more of a line and still showing signs of rotation. And when you see this bright red and purple, the purple coloring in here, Marty showed us a little while ago when you cut that, you know, radar imagery in half and you look at it sideways, that cloud top's up over 50,000 feet and certainly can produce egg size or golf ball, even tennis ball size hail, something that we did see yesterday. So some of the tornado reports coming in, also hail reports, and the rain has been substantial as well, getting reports of anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of rain outside of the Evergreen area up through Littleton, Lakewood, Highlands Ranch, north of Parker. But really, Aurora is the area that has been so very hard hit, and we can kind of see where the concentration of storm reports are coming in conjunction with that warning, that box warning area. And we'll zoom in a little on that for you as I update you now. Tornado warning remains in effect for this area shaded in red, and that is north central Arapahoe County, east central Denver County, and south central Adams County, extended out through 3:45. So another 15 minutes, but will probably be reinstated beyond that for communities to the north and east as the storm shows no signs of weakening by any stretch. And chasers in the area, spotters on the ground, are saying there's a definite wall cloud producing more than one rotating funnel cloud, or multiple vortices as they're called. And the difficult part about this is there's so much rain in the area you can't see the tornado or the funnel cloud. That's what makes it so very dangerous. So we have some of these chasers out there kind of risking their lives to bring this information to us to give to you. And one of those chasers out there is saying there was a confirmed tornado on the ground. They've been following the storm. It was northeast of Aurora. This coming in at 3:18 today. And as the cell moves off toward the east at 20 miles per hour, it's got a history of producing extensive straight line wind damage, which can do damage like a tornado would do. And we want you to be thinking about flying debris in terms of a rotating thunderstorm like this, something you might not think about because you may be standing in the sunshine, but there's certainly going to be something coming in the wind when you have a storm that is this strong. So the storm chasers are telling us they're going to continue to report on this cell, which has produced numerous funnel clouds, and that wall cloud, which is associated with this severe cell. Heavy rain in the area, just making visual confirmation of any tornadoes almost impossible. And you can see up in Sky 9, even from that bird's eye view, how very difficult it is to see through the rain. Sometimes you can kind of see a little bit of green in there, and that's a good indication of hail. But there's so much rain, you almost can't see that either, and you can almost see what looks like two little flanks trying to produce perhaps some funnel clouds in that area too. So this storm has a history of producing tornadoes. It's capable of producing additional tornadic activity with little warning. That's what makes it so dangerous. Ping pong ball size hail has been reported in the area. And again, we have weather spotters and chasers on the ground reporting there is some areas with flying debris. There are broken windshields. We have skylights that have been broken in some of the communities in and around the Aurora area, and cars that basically have just been stopped in their tracks. Now, this is Sky 9 there just south of the Bennett area, and they're included in that tornado warning area. Bennett in the tornado warning area, so they're just south of there, looking back toward the north, and this would be the area that you may actually see some rotation. So you'll see all these different clouds that we're kind of monitoring here in the underbelly of this cloud. Very well-defined wall cloud that we could see earlier. If you're watching us in eastern Aurora, out at DIA, Bennett, Strasburg, Manila Village, or Watkins, we need you to take cover. This is a very dangerous storm system, and they're going to extend that warning out now through 3:45. And again, there has been a report of a tornado on the ground at 318 northeast of Aurora, and this cell now is just tracking out toward the Bennett area where our Sky 9 is flying. So here's Bennett. You're looking at the red shaded area, which is the warning. Here's the cell, strongest part of the cell, right where you see the purple echoes, and that's it as you look off toward DIA and out toward the Bennett area. That's kind of what it looks like from the ground. So pretty amazing, these shots coming in from Sky 9, and they are educated in terms of meteorology, so they know where to fly to be safe, and they're giving us just some excellent storm reporting and a good vantage point of this very, very strong storm. You know, if you're headed south out of Denver, there is some severe thunderstorm activity in the El Paso County area I want to let you know about as well, and we have had some reports of heavy rain and flooding. So if you're just like, I'm getting out of Denver here and going south, you're going to run into some heavy weather down that way as well. But this red shaded area, that is the severe cell we're watching with now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tornado reports since this cell really started to develop about 1 o'clock this afternoon. And again, this cell extending up probably to about 50,000 feet into the atmosphere. Tornado warning will probably be extended beyond 3:45, but the areas in and around Bennett, Byers, and Strasburg, and that's where you're looking live, folks, with Sky 9 flying out there. Very difficult to see with the rain and the hail in the area, but those clouds are a pretty good indication that we're starting to see a little bit of lowering there and a little bit of rotation coming out of the base of what looks to be a wall cloud there. So there's definitely what looks to be rotation, some lowering from the bottom edge of that cloud deck, and sometimes you'll get these scud clouds, you know, from the inflow into the thunderstorm, which can be a little bit deceiving as well. But this storm certainly does have a history of producing funnel clouds and tornadoes, so we're going to need to continue to monitor this. Again, in the tornado warning area is eastern Aurora, DIA, Bennett, Strasburg, Manila Village, and Watkins. Travel not advised in these areas. The storm is tracking off to the east northeast after producing. We have 5 tornado reports now, Kim and Mark. I have not heard of damage or injuries. Have you?
No, we have not. But we've got some good video in.
Yeah.
In fact, we want to share this video from Matt
Lovely, I believe, lives near 104th and Tower Road. This he shot about 2:15, right, Kim?
Right, and this is when Kathy talked about these 5 different tornadoes. He says he took this footage of a wall cloud with, he thinks, what looks like a possible tornado on it. He was south looking towards Tower Road and Pena Boulevard just after 2:15 this afternoon. That's why we were talking about this ground hold at DIA.
He got a remarkable picture, he says, with his iPad, and I wasn't sure if it was a tornado. Looks like there's a funnel cloud in there. It's hard to say, but just has this remarkable picture of this very system, this very cloud that Kathy Sabin and Marty Coniglio have been talking about this afternoon. This has been producing all the hail and a great deal of lightning, as well as a lot of rain. So, just incredible video, Kathy. We thought that might be the one that you were looking at. Why don't you take a look at it and tell us what you see?
Does it look like a tornado to you coming out of that?
You know, there's definite rotation with it. You can see the wall cloud there, but it's hard to tell because right in the very center, that's rain. That's either a rain or a hail shaft right in the very center, but you can tell there's a little rotation coming off kind of the right flank of it there. And this storm certainly does have a history of producing tornadoes and funnel clouds, so I would have, this is great video coming in. You can kind of see what I'm looking at here. That's the rain or hail shaft there coming off the wall cloud. But there's a little lowering, a little rotation coming in off the right flank there. And that's what chasers are reporting on the ground in that area. And it's interesting because if you look off to the west, it's sunny. And then, you get underneath that storm and you can't see anything at all. And again, that tornado warning remains in effect for central Denver County, eastern Adams County, and central Arapahoe County here for another 15 minutes. The storm is tracking to the east-northeast and has had a history of producing large hail, anywhere from pea to marble-sized hail up to ping-pong ball size as it pushes off to the east. Still showing signs of rotation north of Bennett, and there's a lot of lightning as well. With, again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, still 5 confirmed tornado reports coming out of the area. In this greater yellow shaded area is where we have concerns for additional rotating thunderstorms as a tornado watch remains in effect through 8 o'clock tonight. The hail has been amazing with this system as it is tracked off toward the north of us, with the hail really beginning in the foothill areas in and around Conifer, Evergreen, and Genesee, and then right out over the Aurora area. They really saw the brunt of the storm, and now Bennett, Byers, and Strasburg. But heavy rain is also something that we're monitoring with this cell. Heavy rain in the 1 to 3 inch range. But if you're headed out of Denver, headed south, the blue box, that is the severe thunderstorm watch, and that means the potential for hail and damaging winds as well. We so appreciate your pictures coming in on Facebook and Twitter. Check out this picture from Brad Furlow, really showing a rotating thunderstorm off to the parking lot there. Hail, you can see kind of mixed in there. There's like pea-size hail, and then there's bigger marble-size hail coming in across the city. Scary looking clouds out there. Brian Schwartz sending in this great shot on Facebook as well. Some folks reporting some sunshine once the storm rolled through. Always happy to see that. Again, if you have a great weather picture, a storm report, send that in. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. We so appreciate your view on the weather world. Let me just show you what we expect to happen over the next few hours. And that's more rain for Denver, a little more thunder and lightning. And then right about 9 o'clock tonight, looks like another cell develops north of Arvada, Boulder, Longmont, and Platteville. So this wave is moving on, but we may not be done yet this evening with another little round that will head out of Platteville and out to the north of Fort Morgan heading into the evening. These towering cumulus, really something to see in the distance, looking live over the city right now. And again, if you are out and about this evening, we remain under that tornado watch through 8 o'clock with the potential for a little thunder, lightning, wind, even more hail. Even though Kim and Mark looking outside the window here, it's sunny.
Yeah, it's wild.
Absolutely
just
beautiful.
Scooted right on through. Yeah. Well, not only, Kathy, thank you very much. Not only are some of our viewers in sunshine right now, our Brandon Rittiman is in sunshine right now.
And he's in Commerce City, where they saw some flooding. I know that. We've been talking about the street flooding they've seen up there, Brandon.
Yeah, and we've actually seen some on the way here, but this is a major connector that runs through Commerce City to get people to areas north of Denver. Vasquez is closed right now both directions at 60th, and if we can take a closer look back here, you can kind of see why. There's a drainage that's dumping right on to the southbound lanes of Vasquez that's causing a blockage there. We have seen some people coming out of industrial roadways that still have access to this area, but it's technically closed in both directions right now. Cars have been making it through when we've watched them do that. In fact, I think we might have a couple coming here. But I've been told by officers they're hoping to get the northbound lanes open soon because those have dried up since the water has died down a little bit. But as you can see here, there are a couple of routes that still allow access onto here, and the cars are making it. It's calmed down just a little bit because, as you pointed out, the sun is shining out here, but there's still plenty of water that needs to drain, and it is draining onto Vasquez right now. We've seen the public works crews kind of monitoring this, trying to come up with a plan to do something about it, but there's really no sense in pumping this area out right now because there's an active drain that you can see right there continuing to dump onto those southbound lanes. It's a pretty major connector heading out of the northern area of Denver, and police officers are having to send people around it. We've seen a little bit of backup here as they diverted onto some of the side roads that we have a view of from our location. So just keep that in mind. As I said, this is not the only place in our travels today where we saw a little bit of water on underpasses. So if you think about your route home and it includes an underpass somewhere in it, you might want to think about giving yourself more time or think about an alternate way to get home, because public works crews have had their hands busy, especially with some of the drainages that get clogged to try and keep the water flowing out from low-lying areas like this.
Oh, my goodness.
That is remarkable. So that's water coming off the highway from above? It's a plumbing thing where it's draining off the surface above it?
It was kind of, if we can zoom back in on it, it's a little bit interesting to look at, and we've got more cars coming through here. I actually got up there and took a look. It almost looks like a sidewalk, but obviously where it's coming out, that isn't a sidewalk. So my best guess is it's a drainage ditch that would normally be a lot calmer than this, but it's getting a lot of water because we got so much water in such a short period of time that it's just spilling out onto the road, and it hasn't stopped in the entire time we're here. My sense is it's a little bit calmer than it was, but those southbound lanes are going to be closed for quite a while, is what the crews out here are telling me. They are hoping to get the northbound lanes that you can see in the foreground of the shot heading out of Denver. They're hoping to get those open relatively soon.
Yeah, it's a gusher. So somewhere down just below that, there's a drain somewhere that's trying to swallow that water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in fact, because it isn't, we've seen it continue to flow out to the next on-ramp, which is where some of these cars have been coming from. Yeah, it's causing problems not just in this location, but kind of up the street from here.
That's just crazy. How about that? It's a gusher. All right, Brandon Risman reporting live from Commerce City. Very unusual picture there. Thank you very much, Brandon.
We have crews all over this afternoon. We want to get to where was Kelly?
Kelly Samariva. She's on the phone with us. And are you up in the Arvada area, Kelly?
No, I'm actually farther out east towards Aurora, just west of Bennett right now. I just drove through the Aurora Reservoir area not too long ago where we were getting pelted with just huge raindrops, no hail, but the rain was just really coming down out there. And I just pulled onto I-70 eastbound, sort of right at the tail end of that huge band of rain, it seems like.
So at this point, you said just a lot of rain, no hail. Have you seen the same thing with the streets just being flooded with water and heavy rain that comes down too quickly?
Yeah, there's definitely some areas where I was starting to hydroplane. I was taking South Watkins Road north from Quincy to I-70 for a little ways, and the water was starting to pile up on the roadways. So far on I-70, the cars are going maybe 50 miles an hour. It's not too bad. There's not a ton of water on the roads, but you can start to tell towards the edges it's getting muddy and it's getting wet, and actually the rain is just starting to pick up again right now, and I'm seeing just some tiny little hail drops right now.
Yeah, that's what we thought.
You're not out of it, for sure.
As well. No, you're not. And Sky 9's got a picture of approximately your location, Kelly, so we can see the rain on the ground, and we can also see the rain shafts coming out of the cloud just above your location, and it looks like one of those things where you're kind of in and out of it. You can see kind of pauses in these cells, and so as they pass over your location, it gets less intense or more intense depending on where you are in the storm.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I was driving through areas where there was bright blue sky, and then all of a sudden I'd be getting dumped on with rain again. But now as I look towards the east, it is very gray and ominous. I don't see any more of those little patches of blue sky.
Now, are you headed toward Watkins just to make sure that we know exactly where you are?
I'm headed towards Bennett out east on I-70 right now. I am just east of Watkins.
Yeah.
Okay, just east of Watkins.
Yeah, you're just on the edge of it, and you could be in for some real rain and wind here very shortly. All right, Kelly Samariva on the phone with us. Kelly, thank you very much.
Sure.
Stay safe.
Yeah. And, there was lightning in this and thunder. Here at the station, we heard the thunder and the lightning right around 2 o'clock. I mean, they said that so many people commented on the severe weather. The thunderstorm warning went out, and at that moment, they heard the crack of thunder and lightning.
Yeah, and intense rain and hail, just as you are seeing here. This was our situation here downtown, as I'm sure many of the rest of you experienced also this afternoon, most especially out there in the Aurora area, where we are seeing accumulations of hail in the 8-inch to 1-foot area, and a lot of traffic moving very slowly or not at all through some of these deep piles of hail.
We want to get back to Kathy. Kathy, we're just talking to Kelly about this, and she's headed towards Bennett, and that's an area that they've still got to be on the lookout for this.
Yeah, absolutely. The tornado warning lifted for the Bennett area, but Marty and I were just looking at the rotation, and the radar indicated rotation, and we're pretty sure that they may reissue that. Tornado warning. Also, we have crews on the ground in the area reporting funnel cloud activity around Byers, Bennett, and Strasburg. So we're going to have a report from crews in the field shortly as well. But you can see this cell shows no signs of weakening, dying down at any point. Really, all this activity started early this afternoon, right around 1 o'clock. The storm's developing in the foothills and pushing toward the northeast, and now becoming, well, first one large cell, and now kind of a line that extends from south of Keensburg right through Bennett and right down to the east of the Parker area. We have had, I think, 5 tornado report confirmations at this point, along with heavy flooding rainfall, which has really compromised travel across across the city and on I-25 going in and out of the metro area. Some of the preliminary rain amounts that we're seeing, and you can just see Sky9 showing us how heavy that rain is coming down from the base of that cloud. Visibility very poor, but anywhere from about 1.5 inches of rain down around the Highlands Ranch area up to almost 2 inches in Aurora and out toward DIA. And again, travel certainly impacted by this storm system as well, which is still showing signs of rotation. Severe thunderstorm warning now will take over for the tornado warning area, and we'll grab the information on this. That yellow shaded box that you're seeing there is north central Arapahoe County and south central Adams County, and you can see why. Even though we're still seeing signs of rotation, this could flip back over to a tornado warning at any time. Right now, this is now a severe thunderstorm warning through 4:15. The cell that we're tracking is 5 miles northwest of Strasburg, 33 miles east of Denver. It's moving east at 15 and has been producing very heavy rain along with rotation, which our radar is indicating as well. Just heavy rain. Tornadic activity has been reported with this storm, $half-sized hail, and the damage to vehicles certainly a potential in the northeastern Aurora, Bennett, and Strasburg areas. And you can really see just there's like the cloud tops over 50,000 feet north of Bennett here. It's going to be some big hail there, and just to the southwest of Bennett, extending down toward the northeast of Parker. It's kind of stretching out, and right underneath this, we're seeing again funnel cloud development, straight line wind damage, and heavy rain, which now extends right back into the town of Parker. So it's becoming more than just one cell. It's kind of like an entire line that we're monitoring as well. And look at these tornado reports, the little red buttons that you see there. That tornado warning has been canceled, replaced by the severe thunderstorm warning. But check this out. We have had a tornado touchdown, confirmation of a tornado in East Denver at 2:30 today. No reports of damage or injuries. If you have anything like that, please let me know. Rain-wrapped tornado in Aurora. Hail reported over 3/4 of an inch in diameter outside of Aurora as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then now a tornado report outside of Watkins at 2:45 as well. So severe thunderstorm warning area in the yellow shaded box. We're monitoring the cell. It looks as though it's moving pretty quickly toward the east-northeast. It was running about 10 to 15 miles per hour, almost more due east at this point, but will be in Bennett shortly, or at least the southern flank of it will be. And you can tell this system is moving pretty quick, but it's not going away with a lot of lightning. I put the lightning detection on, and we've just had hundreds of strikes within about 30 minutes time. And that is something else to be thinking about as the system now spans about 3 counties. Thank goodness the tornado warning has been canceled, but still signs of rotation with this storm, so it makes it very dangerous, even though we do not have chasers watching a tornado on the ground, which was not the case about 15 minutes ago when that was certainly happening out there east of Aurora. The large yellow shaded box is a tornado watch area. Denver remains under that through 8 o'clock tonight, as does Byers. And you can see Keensburg back into Boulder and Broomfield. I know folks in Denver proper and then west are looking at sunshine, thinking maybe we're done. But there is some additional development now up around the Boulder area, and then some other storms that have caused some problems down in El Paso County, south of Colorado Springs. The hail tracker indicating hail with the system. It came out of Jefferson County, moving northeast over the city. Hail 1 to 3 inches in diameter, and we'll put that into time lapse for you. And where you're seeing the yellow, purple, and the blue areas is where those are some really big hailstones. And last night in the 10 o'clock news, we had pictures in on Facebook and Twitter of egg-sized hail, tennis ball-sized hail, and that is certainly a potential again this afternoon. And the green is where we've had the heaviest rain reports this afternoon. Close to 2 inches out by DIA, north of Aurora, and down toward the Centennial area. You're watching a picture-in-picture view here. This is our Sky9, which is flying above the city, giving us a bird's eye view of this cell, which is beginning to turn into a line, and showing us a wall cloud earlier, some rotation, and some cloud lowering that definitely looked quite ominous. So if we give you the bigger picture now, the blue shaded box is the severe thunderstorm watch. So if you're headed out of Denver down to our Colorado Springs and Pueblo, Colorado. These storms in El Paso County are creating some problems as well. As a matter of fact, severe thunderstorm warning out. This cell right over the Air Force Academy, 8 miles north of Colorado Springs, and they're looking down toward the south. And you've got sunshine, but you've also got more cumulus development as well. So we are looking at that live picture coming in as Sky 9 is looking toward the south, and it's just going to be a bumpy evening for us, because even though we've seen the strongest storm push east out of the metro area, it's kind of extending out now along a line that extends from Parker out to Bennett and up toward the Fort Morgan area. And now down south, we are looking at the back edge of the storm with Cody Crouch at the camera there in Sky 9. So severe thunderstorm warning in northwestern El Paso County until 4:30, and that's this little cluster of storms that we're tracking north of Pueblo. Golf ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and these cells are also pushing toward the northeast. So something that we're going to be watching is this cluster of storms in El Paso County. Are they going to come up and merge with this line of storms that just moved through Denver? Because that is certainly a potential. And a third area that we're watching in southeastern Colorado, we're looking at some additional development down there as well. So yellow is the tornado watch area. Blue is the severe thunderstorm watch, but storms are coming up quick from the south and may merge with the storms that moved over Denver earlier. And you're looking again at Sky 9 showing us pictures, looking at those storms that are developing off to the south and to the east of us, just giving us a wonderful bird's eye view. Severe weather outlook shows that southeastern sections of New Mexico, north central Colorado, and also areas to the north of Little Rock really in the area for tornadic and hail producing thunderstorms today. And then as we get you into the latter part of this week, we may see this happen all over again. We're getting some great pictures in on Facebook and Twitter, and we so appreciate those weather reports showing the clouds coming in around the area. Definite rotation. You can see wall cloud with the formation with some of these pictures as well, and just a lot of flooding. We've had damage to windshields, damage to property, patio furniture, and also skylights and things like that. So lightning is something not to mess with either. We always say if thunder roars, go indoors, because lightning and wind are something from thunderstorms that people don't think a lot about. You think about the tornadoes and you think about the hail, but lightning can certainly, I think it's like the #1 cause of death in terms of severe weather for Colorado. So, yep, we're going to continue to tally these rainfall amounts, but it's kind of fun to watch the hail, Kim and Mark, as it came in off the foot. Look at this hail tracker. Is that amazing? Right over the city, you know, just like yesterday, bullseye. I think the only good piece of news here is really the evening rush hadn't really gotten going when all of this happened yesterday, and that's a similar situation that we're watching for you for today as well. But with that tornado watch extended out through 8 o'clock tonight, it will probably be a very active period of weather for us between now and 10 o'clock tonight. And this storm system is just so very strong, still showing signs of rotation north of the Bennett area. And look, has a history producing tornadoes. Those little red balls that you're seeing on here, those are tornado reports from the National Weather Service, storm chasers and spotters trained in the area. And this yellow box over Bennett and Byers, that is the severe thunderstorm warning, and that's going to be, that'll remain in effect until about 4:15, and will be something we'll be monitoring because it'll extend out east to the Byers area as well. So Kim and Mark, good news is at this point, no tornado warnings, but this is a dangerous cell that has a history of producing tornadoes, so we're going to need to watch it. And I think, as I mentioned, it's stretching out, becoming a line, and we have some storms coming up from the south that may merge. So we're not done yet.
What do they say? Never let the streams cross. Isn't that what they say?
Yeah. Or your lines cross. Yeah.
Never let your lines cross.
No. Keep them separate, and I don't know how we're going to do that.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Well, Kathy, thank you very much. Great coverage. We know you will continue to follow it as well. Thank you very much. And we have a quick update on DIA.
Right. We've been following this because so many people have been talking about this ground hold. DIA is now saying, since the tornado warning has expired, the flights are resuming. However, 38 flights were diverted, so that's quite a bit, a lot more than yesterday. And the delays are about 90 minutes at this point, so you should check your flight status at flydenver.com. A lot of people are also tweeting and saying, well, the flight isn't moving just yet, but remember, they're all backed up, so they're trying to make up for all the lost time.
Stack to take off and a stack to land, right? Yep.
Yeah,
and probably a bumpy landing today, one of those.
Probably. So they're grateful that now the worst of it is past. Again, 38 flights have been diverted, but they're hoping that they're going to get back on track.
Yes, they are. All right,
we are going to start the 4 o'clock news with a little more.
In just a moment, so stay with us. 4 o'clock at 9 News will resume after this.
It's May. Time we get outside and play. Hi, Don Hicks for Shortline Subaru.